strategy is me leaving with my hand, rolls and everybody mouth dropping. That's how I can, sums it up. And I slapped Steven so hard.
Yeah, that looked real.
They here to test me for steroids.
Terence Crawford has delivered a clear and firm message to Canelo Alvarez ahead of their much-anticipated showdown this September. Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn offered his perspective on the upcoming bout, noting that while he's long supported Canelo due to their working relationship, his recent interactions with Crawford, particularly in Riyadh, left a strong impression. Hearn pointed out that Crawford's unwavering self-belief and mental toughness are contagious, saying that being around someone so convinced of victory can shift others' mindsets too. He called the matchup a tightly contested, evenly matched battle, essentially a 50-50 fight. That said, if pressed to choose, Hearn admitted he might lean slightly toward Crawford at the moment, though he still believes Canelo has the skills and experience to come out on top. Crawford's unorthodox and elusive style, however, is likely to present significant challenges.
Are you still favoring Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion changed?
I mean, I've always favoured Canelo in the fight.
Well, I've heard that you want Canelo to win, but you feel...
Of course, yeah. I like Terence. I've worked a lot with Canelo, and I think just because of what I saw in Riyadh and because of the threat, and he's getting on as well, Crawford, but it's just like the mindset of Crawford. Like, there's no doubt in Terence Crawford's mind that he wins this fight. And when you spend a bit of time with him, you kind of start buying into that. And I guess that's what happened in Riyadh, because I've travelled with him to the fight, and but it's a 50-50 fight. I think gun to head, I'm probably picking Crawford right now, but I want Canelo to win, and he can win for sure. But Terence is going to make it really tricky and awkward for him, and I don't think he's going to like that kind of fight.
Additionally, Terence Crawford's sparring partner Troy Ely expressed strong confidence in Crawford's training and mindset. Ely emphasized that size won't be a factor in the upcoming bout and assured that Crawford is completely focused. According to Ely, Terence is dialed in and ready to handle business when the moment arrives. While Ely is confident that Crawford will come out on top, he mentioned he's holding off on predicting a knockout until he sees how the fight unfolds.
My boy Terence gonna be ready. You see the size, ain't nothing. My boy Terence gonna be ready. We're gonna be locked in. It's a it's a big fight. And my boy Terence gonna take care of business, and he ready for it.
How do you think? You got a prediction? Obviously, you think he's gonna win. Do you think you'll stop him?
I gotta see it. My prediction is Terence will win. However, I gotta see it.
In the lead up to his showdown with Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford made it known that his attention is locked onto a single goal. While he declined to reveal any specific game plan, Crawford summed up his approach by saying his objective is to walk away victorious and leave the crowd stunned.
I ain't gonna break it down to you, know what I mean, how it's gonna happen, but the strategy is me leaving with my hand, rolls and everybody mouth dropping. That's how I can, sums it up.
Terence Crawford clarified that he doesn't view his interest in Canelo Alvarez as chasing him, but rather as seeking the opportunity to go up against the top fighter of his era. He referred to Canelo as the most accomplished boxer in the sport today aside from himself, and expressed a desire to share the ring with another elite competitor. Crawford believes a matchup between him and Canelo would represent the biggest event in boxing at the moment.
I wouldn't say I'm chasing Canelo, I think that's a broad statement. I just want the opportunity, to fight the best fighter in my generation that's out there. He's the most accomplished fighter in today's sports of boxing, other than myself. And I would just like to, fight another great. That's it. I think it'll be the biggest fight in the sport of boxing.
The buzz surrounding Terence Crawford intensified after reports surfaced, claiming he knocked out a sparring partner with nothing more than a slap. The unexpected display of power fueled speculation, with some even questioning whether he was undergoing steroid testing. Both fans and boxing insiders were taken aback by his impressive strength and the high level of intensity he brought to training camp.
Hey, I slapped Steven so hard.
Yeah, that looked real.
They here to test me for steroids.
Let's go. 1, 2. Damn, bud.
Anthony Durrell expressed enthusiasm for the upcoming fight, calling it an exciting test, especially with Crawford moving up in weight. He pointed out that sparring with bigger opponents in the gym is very different from absorbing real punches under the lights, where every blow carries more danger. Durrell sees the key question as whether Crawford can handle Canelo's physical strength over the course of the fight. Still, he voiced full confidence in Crawford's preparation, noting that Terence wouldn't take on such a challenge unless he felt completely ready. When asked who he'd bet on, Durrell didn't hesitate. He picked Crawford without a second thought.
It'll be a good fight. I think Crawford is coming up in weight. Everybody want to know how he's going to handle Canelo's power. I think Crawford has sparred bigger people, but not fought big people without a headgear. It's totally different sparring and fighting, because you're going to feel that punch in fighting for sure. So we got to see how he handles it, but I think he'll handle it or he wouldn't be going up. I mean, it's Terence Crawford. If he know he can do it, he can do it. 100%.
If you had to put money on it,
yeah.
Who would you put money on?
Terence Crawford. 100%. Yeah.
Amir Khan weighed in on the anticipated matchup between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez, admitting it's a tough call to make. He pointed out that Canelo naturally fights at a heavier weight and carries serious knockout power. Reflecting on his own bout with Canelo, Amir remembered clearly feeling the size and strength disparity. However, he also noted that Crawford, when they shared the ring, felt just as strong physically. The key difference in Khan's view is in the punch impact. While Crawford hits with authority, Canelo's power is more explosive and has the kind of force that can abruptly end a fight.
It's a hard fight to call, Canelo Crawford, because, you know, Crawford is a big guy as well. I mean, I normally would say Canelo because he's a bigger guy, but and normally he's bigger than his opponents and he puts on the weight well. And when I fought him, he was much heavier and bigger than me. But then again, when I fought against Crawford, Crawford was as big as Canelo. But I just don't feel that Crawford hits as hard as Canelo. Canelo hits very hard. I mean, his power is, you know what I mean? His power is like unreal.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you watch the fight and you see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas with Crawford's got power. Don't get me wrong. Crawford's got amazing power. But the thing is that it's not that knockout power that Canelo has. Now, you have to understand.
Later in the discussion, Amir Khan spoke further about how evenly matched Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford appear. He acknowledged that both fighters possess elite skill and are entering the later stages of their careers. While Crawford has looked sharp recently and even helped Khan prepare for his final fight, Amir admitted he slightly favors Canelo. He noted that although some believe Canelo might be slowing down, he still sees him as a dangerous opponent. Khan described the fight as evenly balanced and said the outcome will likely come down to which fighter shows the best combination of timing, speed, and overall ability. In his eyes, it's a true toss-up that could swing either way.
I fought Canelo 10 years ago or so. Now, is that the same Canelo that is out there now? But a lot of people saying Canelo's maybe past his best. Now with Crawford, Crawford's come off some good wins, looking really good. But still, the age is very similar. Both guys are getting on towards the end of their career. I think it's evenly matched, but I do lean more towards Canelo in this one, even though Crawford's a very close friend of mine and helped me in my training camp for my last fight. But it's a hard fight to call because both fighters are at the top of the game. I think it's something that boxing's not seen for a very, very long time, where you've got two fighters. It's hard to say who's going to win. It is a 50-50 fight. Is it skill or power that's going to win, or is it skill or speed that's going to win the fight? We don't know, so let's...
Richardson Hitchens expressed confidence in Terence Crawford's chances against Canelo Alvarez, despite acknowledging that Crawford is a very different kind of fighter compared to those who have previously beaten Canelo like Floyd Mayweather and Dimitri Bivol. Hitchens pointed to Crawford's high ring IQ and tactical awareness as assets that could help him craft a unique route to victory without mimicking anyone else's blueprint. He emphasized that Crawford should stay committed to his own style and strengths. Still, Hitchens stopped short of predicting a knockout, noting that Canelo has never been stopped and questioning whether even a fighter as skilled as Crawford could be the first to accomplish that feat.
Terence Crawford is one of the most craftiest dudes that Canelo gonna be in the ring with. Hand speed, IQ, long arms, speed, power. You know, switch hitter. I just think that it's gonna be a lot for. It's gonna be something different for Canelo, but I think Canelo's Canelo. You know, Canelo been first title defense was in 2011 versus Ricky Hatton, and he's still on top to the present time. So this is over 10 years. We're going on like 15 years of this guy fighting on the championship level. So there's nothing new for him. So I do believe that it's gonna be a huge fight for both guys. But obviously I'm backing Bud. You know, I have a personal relationship with Terence Crawford, and he's a black fighter, and I do want to see my own winning. I think, you know, Bud is a great guy, you know, especially always being hands-on with the young fighters coming up behind him, guys like me, Shakur, Devin Haney's, being in the gym with guys like us, and, you know, just giving us free game and shit like that. So I think that would be motivation for the young ones behind him, to show them like, yeah, like I could do it, like you could do it too. So I really want to see Bud win that fight, and I think that he can.
And Jermall Charlo, reflecting on his brother Jermel's struggles against Canelo after moving up in weight, advised Terence Crawford to avoid making the same mistake. He emphasized that Crawford shouldn't try to match Canelo's power, but instead rely on the traits that make him special, such as quick footwork, sharp movement, and strong ring awareness. Charlo warned that making too many adjustments for a higher weight class could backfire, and staying true to his natural style would give Crawford the best shot at success.
All right. My brother Canelo, not me. I like Crawford in this fight, and he gets to stay big. But my brother even told me that was his mistake that he made. He thought going up in weight, I got to get massive, I got to get big to beat Canelo. It made him slower. It made his reflexes slower. He'll tell you himself. He didn't feel like the Jermell Charlo that y'all seen him fight Tony Harrison. Crawford, I feel like that's the same thing as happening. You want to get big to try to absorb Canelo punches and all this, but that's not, technically, that's not the Crawford that we're going to see. And then Crawford going up there to fight Canelo at 68, when he's not a 68 pounder, where's the motivation? Y'all got to think about it like
Big
that.
for Crawford.
The money is good, but I don't expect Terence Crawford to be the Terence Crawford that was knocking out Gamboa, doing all. I don't expect that type of Terence Crawford.
But does it look Canelo?
I'm not picking either one of them.
Even Jim Lampley shared a more balanced take on the matchup, though he slightly favored Canelo due to the natural size advantage. He praised both fighters for maintaining elite performance over the years and highlighted Crawford's ability to shift seamlessly between offense and defense. Lampley noted that this adaptability could be a major factor, especially in the later rounds when fatigue begins to influence the rhythm of the fight.
Sport. You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over a long period of time Canelo beats himself. If he gets tired of all the discipline he has had to employ to make all the money he's made, if he has enough giant ranches in the Yucatan, if he has enough beautiful horses, if he has had enough unforgettable dinners with Mexican billionaires in Mexico City and Vegas, then maybe. But my guess is he will retire without incurring another loss, because it's important to him to do.
Manny Pacquiao also weighed in with a fairly neutral perspective. The legendary 8-division world champion pointed to Crawford's speed and evasiveness as key strengths that could serve him well. However, he acknowledged the challenge of going up against someone with Canelo's power and imposing presence. While Pacquiao didn't make a definitive prediction, his remarks subtly leaned in Canelo's favor, though he made it clear that Crawford's skill set gives him a real shot at winning.
About Canelo versus Crawford. Crawford's moving up like 20 pounds. What do you think?
Good. Good for Canelo.
Good for Canelo?
No.
Don't worry. 16 years old. Manny, any advice on Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times. Any advice for Crawford moving up in weight? You did it so many times and you were successful. What do you tell Crawford? Any advice?
My advice to him is just focus on speed and the
Tim Bradley, a former champion and Hall of Famer, shared his thoughts on the upcoming clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford. He voiced concern over one specific habit that could pose a problem for Crawford: his tendency to engage in exchanges. According to Bradley, trading shots with a powerful puncher like Canelo could be a dangerous gamble.
And Terence he never touched the canvas. That was his first time. And it also comes with the fact that Terence is just, that's his mentality. It's tough. A little bit of me moving forward, that's what scares me about the Canelo fight, to be honest with you. Because
he ain't gonna back down. He ain't gonna back down.
No,
no,
not.
He's
not gonna back. And he's tough. And that's what scares me about that fight, because you don't need to be trading with that bull. Like, I know you're strong.
While acknowledging Crawford's toughness and skill, Tim Bradley pointed out that Canelo has had ample time to adjust to the super middleweight division, giving him a built-in advantage. In contrast, Crawford would be entering unfamiliar territory at 168 pounds, a factor that could prove critical if the fight becomes a closely contested, high-action battle.
Q is naturally strong, and he's been at his weight class for a very long time. So he's acclimated. You don't need to be trading with this guy at all, regardless.
Teen Showbiz. The adult commented that the matchup between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford appears more balanced than before, especially after seeing how easily William Skull was able to move and avoid Canelo's attacks. However, he also recalled how strong Madrimov looked against Crawford at 154 pounds, and how Ortiz dealt with Madrimov, leading him to wonder if both Canelo and Crawford may be showing signs of decline. He noted that Crawford isn't the type to run during a fight, and although Crawford has a slight height advantage, the difference isn't significant. Showbiz pointed out that fighters in Canelo's weight range often get stopped unless there's someone with the skill of Floyd Mayweather. While he still leans toward a Canelo knockout victory, he admitted that he's less certain about that prediction than he was before.
Fight has gotten a little closer because of William Skull, how he moved around and how easy it seemed to get away from Canelo if you wanted to move around. But at the same time, I haven't forgotten how good Madrimov looked against Crawford at 154 and what Ortiz did to Madrimov. I do think Canelo has slipped, but it seems to be obvious to me also that Crawford has slipped. Another thing, Crawford is not going to run. Now, Crawford is a little bit taller than Canelo, but that's not tall enough. I haven't seen anyone match Canelo's height that closely in a very long time. And when they do, if your name not Floyd Mayweather, you're usually going night-night. I still have Canelo by knockout, but I don't feel the same confidence.
Joel Diaz didn't mince words. He sees almost no path for Terence Crawford to beat Canelo Alvarez. Even though Diaz considers Crawford his favorite fighter and the top pound-for-pound boxer in the sport, he highlighted the massive jump from 147 to 168 pounds as a serious obstacle. While he admitted Crawford might start strong, Diaz believes the difference in size and power will eventually take its toll. He also reminded fans that Canelo has withstood heavy shots from punchers like Gennady Golovkin without much trouble, and warned that if Canelo connects cleanly on Crawford, it could end badly.
I mean, there is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, I mean, the best fighter pound for pound, can beat Canelo. I mean, a 147 pounder moving up to 68, I mean, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him.
Teen Diaz compared Crawford's situation to when Demetrius Andrade moved up in weight to fight David Benavidez. Andrade started off well, but quickly faded once Benavidez's size and power began to take over. Diaz believes Crawford could run into the same problem. While he fully acknowledges Crawford's world-class skill, he feels the physical gap is simply too much to overcome. Once that size difference becomes a factor, Diaz thinks the entire dynamic of the fight shifts. In his view, this matchup seems more like a business move than a competitive Bhutan opportunity for Crawford to secure a major payday rather than a realistic chance at victory.
Remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade? Yes. Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fight 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big fighter like that. I mean, look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Andrade was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, It takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. I mean, Turkey Al-Sheikh, it's a big fan of Terence Crawford. Wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
Shakur Stevenson voiced his belief that Terence "Bud" Crawford will come out on top against Canelo Alvarez. While he gave Canelo credit as a great fighter, Stevenson feels Crawford has the complete skill set needed to win. Addressing the weight difference, Shakur downplayed its importance, saying it's often overemphasized. He noted that while someone like David Benavidez presents a much larger frame, Canelo isn't significantly taller or bigger than Crawford. Stevenson also mentioned a recent conversation with Bozy Ennis, where they both agreed that if Canelo underestimates Crawford's power or makes critical mistakes, there's even a chance Bud could score a stoppage.